If I relearn maths as a 28-year-old quantum researcher, basically self-taught, I taught myself programming at the age of 2022, and then later on I became an AI engineer, and that also through online courses and YouTube videos. Then later on switching to quantum research, and that is also within the span of 28 years without getting any formal degree or something. I have seen all the shades of maths till now, so I can pretty much say what will be the best way to learn math if I have to go through maths again. So what I think one thing we universally, not in India, universally go wrong with teaching math is that we learn math, and the first practical application which we learn is through physics. Like in the physics, we apply whatever the maths we learn. And physics is very complicated. It is developed by giants, Newton, Einstein. They were like giants of this field, and they did it in their age of like very later part of the age. And we are teaching these kind of things to kids. So I don't think that is a very justifiable thing. And the worst part about physics is that it is very good, it is very intuitive. But applying it to real world, it's very hard. When you actually become a higher level engineer, then you're going to use those physics concepts to your work, like a CFD engineer, or maybe related to anything, quantum mechanics, or something like this. And a very higher engineering, and you're going to use those maths and physics over there. So the real life application quite comes very late in physics. Whereas if I see other areas which are much better field for learning maths as application, and how I'm going to give you this advice is basically there's something called progressive overload in our bodybuilding community, right? Where we break down tasks into small chunks, and we lift the weight such a way that it increases little by little at next day or something like this. Like same way, I'm going to give you a recipe for learning math. You can start by learning basic maths, and the second thing you can go with start to learn in finance, like understand about compounding, money, how to store money, how to addition, subtraction, compounding is the kind of thing. Maybe going into economics as well, right? Learning different correlation, regressions, and kind of thing. Going into a little bit of stats as well. So that is a very good starting application of maths, where you can understand maths numbers in a better way. Once you're done with that, or even you can parallelly go with understanding how AI works, right? How calculus works in AI, how AI understand into classification, how it predicts the next thing, right? This kind of thing. That is a very useful application of math and calculus, right? But this calculus is like you say it is a main tool for every higher engineering thing, right? So there you will get introduced by the application way, not the conventional rote learning or anything. So understanding how these gradient descent, back operation, neural network, these things work, you will have a very good application of math over this. You will understand much better maths. Also, when you go to a normalization side, then you understand about stats and regression and probabilities and these kind of thing. So these areas you can start, which is a very good applications to learn maths and practice math. Once you have done this thing, once you're good with, then you can slowly come into the physics side and come into main engineering, where you learn about Fourier transform, Laplace transform, this kind of thing, and a lot of things will come, and you will probably understand how complex number works and this kind of thing. If I had followed this path, I would have saved a lot of time and effort learning maths and everything. Then once you are comfortable with the differential equation and everything, then you can come into quantum computing as well, right? Quantum mechanics and this kind of thing. So this progression quite looks nice, and it is like the hardship increases little by little, so you can easily follow it, and at some level you will understand the math. And the problem I had was that I started just like everybody else. I started applying maths on physics. I did it. I was not that great with it, but as soon as my high school got over, I was totally abandoned the whole physics chemistry thing. Totally abandoned it. Learned programming. There very little maths was used over there. Once started learning about machine learning and deep neural network and this kind of thing, then again got in touch with maths. So there actually understood the application of calculus and this kind of thing. And that gave me so much insight that when I went back to my physics and everything, that made total sense, how calculus, derivative, integrals work over there. And I wish I could have learned in this manner, not started with physics and all. So I hope you learn from my mistake. I will not say it's a mistake, but it was the first option which I knew in my place in India, and everybody else in the world as well, same thing. Like people usually start with physics, but I think physics is little harder for somebody who's starting, and it is well observed and well understood when you come back after doing a lot of things with the numbers. So I hope this helps you, and helps you to learn math in a beautiful way so that you don't hate it. Do let me know if you have any advice or comment a similar story like this. I would love to read them.